Hi everyone. Yeah, that's true. I don't know how I'm going to follow Dad's singing, and even Sonia's words were really touching. Anyway, so hi everyone. Thank you very much for coming along and helping us celebrate the marriage of my little brother Nick to his beautiful bride Sheena. I'd also like to thank both sets of parents, my parents Alex and Wendy, and Sheena's parents Kishore and Rima, for producing and raising such wonderful kids as these two, and also for hosting this very special event here today at Dunbar House. There's a 5-year gap between Nick and I. I'm 5 years older, and so I guess I've been lucky enough to see him grow up right from day one, from when you were a newborn baby. I remember it was a really exciting time having a little baby brother come into the family. Even though it may not have seemed like it to you sometimes, I really loved you. I adored you. Yeah, so I guess you could say that Nick's a quiet achiever. As Dad said, there's never any fuss with him. He just goes about his business, and he seems to do it. Everything he does seems to be seems effortless. I know things don't come easy to you, but you seem to pull it off really well. So. I must admit, I really struggled when I was thinking back through your life and thinking about skeletons in your closet that I might be able to reveal today. But the truth is, Nick was and still is just a very good, well-behaved boy who never really hurt anyone, and that's the truth. Yeah. So. However, there is one thing that I'd like to say. I mean, it's more a reflection of my bad influence than his rebellious streak. But there was a time, I think it was Nick was 7 years old when he had his first cigarette. So I started him early, but the habit didn't really stick. He was too wholesome for that. Yeah. We grew up in a soccer-mad family, Nick and I and Anna. We lived and breathed soccer, and so it's no surprise that Nick was and probably still is. Don't know if he still plays, but Nick was an excellent soccer player. Really skillful and creative. He usually played in the centre of the park in a playmaker role. My only criticism of you was that you might have been a little bit gentle with your opponents, and I remember yelling at you from the sidelines to toughen up and get in there and tackle a bit harder. But it's probably just out of jealousy, because what I lacked in skill I made up in aggression. But Nick really played well. Nick had amazing success in school, especially in high school, with subjects like maths and German, and he was able to achieve a UAI, which is like the final score that you get in school, of about 97%. So that was really exceptional, and it gave you a lot of choice in your life and in what you wanted to do at university. So Nick decided to study structural civil engineering at UNSW, which was the university that I was going to too. So we were able to spend a lot of time together during those years, particularly commuting, navigating the notorious Sydney peak hour traffic on my motorcycle, or catching the train and bus. So I remember one day we were catching a bus from Central Station to uni, and quite often we would just we would just travel with one valid bus ticket to save a bit of money, and the other person would just sneak on without swiping their ticket. And anyway, this particular day, in the middle of the journey, the bus stopped at an unusual spot and the ticket inspectors came on, and that was a bit of a worry. $100 ticket for fare evasion is a lot of money when you're a uni student. So we were at the back of the bus, and I remember I showed the inspector my ticket, and then Nick managed to stall for a bit, and the inspector had a look at someone else's ticket, and then I gave Nick my ticket, and then he showed him his ticket, and we managed to once again evade the authorities. And I would say that's probably the closest Nick has ever come to breaking the law in his life. Yeah, Nick was a highly disciplined uni student, and as Dad mentioned, he achieved first class honours in his undergraduate degree, and then he went on to achieve a master's in structural engineering. Okay, so then Nick also has had a great career. He's still going in his structural engineering. I think he's worked about 8 years for the same company now, including a 4-year stint in New York, where he of course met the lovely Sheena. So even though I would have liked to milk another trip to New York with free accommodation, I'm really glad that you guys have decided to come back to Sydney. It was a bit of a surprise. I thought you might have, I don't know, I didn't know it was on the cards, so I'm really happy that you guys have come back here for the time being anyway. And the other thing I just want to say is Nick's always been, he's not the most outgoing guy, but he's always been very popular, and he makes friends with ease, and everyone who ever meets him or has anything to do with him ends up loving him, I think. Yes, that's just one of the traits that Nick has. And lastly, sorry to drag on, Nick, you're really lucky to have met such a great girl as Sheena. I wish you guys all the best, and good luck for the future together. Thank you.
Last but certainly not least, Nick